Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you Game 3 in a best of 3 series between Liquid TLO and Socke, ATN Socke here on Neo Enigma. I think that's the name of the map. Hopefully I didn't misremember, and hopefully this game will be a good one. Games 1 and 2, very exciting back and forth matches. TLO putting a lot of pressure but never truly finding Socke's expansion. Socke, a very heavy macro player, and as soon as he got up to 200 food count with such a large cache of minerals in the bank along with his gas and running off of what 13, 16 gateways, he was just able to get his units and reinforcements back into the field much more quickly and overwhelm TLO. TLO on this particular matchup spawning as the purple Terran at the 6 o'clock location. Meanwhile, Socke is spawning at the 3 o'clock location as the light blue or cyan Protoss. So I am looking forward to this matchup. I am sounding a little rushed as I have somewhere to be right after this, but hey, this game isn't gonna get any faster if I talk faster. So I'll slow down and try to give you a high quality, high commentary replay as this game continues. Scouting already taking place quickly after the gateway, and it looks like Socke will be scouting in the incorrect location, and it will be quite some time before he finds his opponent. Meanwhile, back over here, we are going to be seeing command center and no refinery just quite yet, so this may be a double racks build by TLO. I have not seen a double racks build, or also could be an early expansion build. Probably more than likely an early expansion build because this is Neo Enigma, or yeah, oh no, or is this Terminus Ray? I think this is Terminus Ray. Okay. I'll have to update this, but I actually think this is Terminus Ray, not Neo Enigma. Anyways, SCV now coming in around the corner, and we'll quickly be able to start scouting in just a moment. Socke, knowing based upon the timing of this SCV reaching the inside of the base that his opponent did not spawn here, TLO did not spawn here, and just quickly cutting across the map to try to walk up the ramp. There is already a Marine in play here, as we still do not have a command center or a refinery, so it is going to be a very, very late as the Marine trying to shoot down this one probe. The probe, however, going to get stopped by a second Marine. Just the right timing, and now TLO can build his command center in peace. Now taking a look back into the base of Socke. Socke is getting a second gateway. Oh, this is going to be bad news, folks. A second gateway, meaning that a lot of early pressure most likely will be coming in. You can see also another pylon being warped in, even though he is not about to be supply locked. We are getting more probes as a stalker now being trained as well. That stalker going to make the trek already over there as a command center now being built, and we are going into bunkers on the front door. TLO most likely knowing that pressure is coming. Bunkers taking 40 seconds to build, so that is quite a large amount of time, as bunkers without Marines don't do much at all. But now the Socke now going to make the trek down over here. The bunkers will be completed. 2 Marines in each should be more than enough. But one of the things you have to be careful about is this backdoor set of rocks. If Socke is already going to start to try to clear out these sets of rocks, as a Nexus also being established as well. The SCV coming in and sees that the Nexus has been placed down. Very, very important to actually see that. Stalker now going to try to get some damage onto this one particular SCV, but the SCV going to get a sight inside that base. This was a 2-gate expand, as the Stalker over here taking its sweet time trying to destroy this 3 armored rocks. It will be quite a while before those rocks are destroyed. We are now seeing an upgrade to an orbital command here, and this is looking to turn into a very, very long macro game once again. Scouting SCV has been taken down. Taking a look at the units, 28 probes versus 23 SCVs as this game continues, and now we are also going into a robotics facility and now also a factory. The rocks taking a lot of damage so far, and this may be a problem. The bunkers are offering a lot of protection over here, but there is not enough range, and if the Stalkers are able to walk in right here, then they'll be able to get a lot of damage very easily. Supply depots are being built, but it's not going to be enough of it in time as the Stalkers now making their way here. The Destructible Rocks already down to 740 hit points as more and more units are, I believe, being added over. I do not see warp gates are now up, probes are being transferred, and will these 3 Stalkers actually be able to get any serious damage? I do not believe so, as the Marines and additional reinforcements should be able to easily take care of that with little to no issue. Sentries and Zealots now making their way down over here as well. Both sides just playing a very macro safe game, as we are now going into a double starport. So it may be double Banshees all the way, as the Stalkers are now coming in. So the Stalkers getting some damage onto those Marines, trying to get out of combat range, and very nicely done by Socke. Socke trying to make sure that the Stalkers, the lower hit point Stalker, is constantly out of range, and he's actually getting a decent amount of mileage microing those Stalkers, but there's just too many Marines. The Marines out-massing and out-damaging very easily, and now Socke is in trouble, as he will going to be losing much more in that early engagement. Taking a look at the income, we are getting a decent amount by Socke. Socke getting about 1,200, but the Terran TLO, who could just call down mules right now to try to even it up, is not currently calling down mules. I guess he doesn't need that many minerals, since he is training up a Raven, and perhaps is he going double Raven? Double Raven would be a very curious strategy indeed, but a lot of point defense drone to shut down a lot of those early units. Perhaps we are now going into a Banshee. Yeah, it's going to be Raven Banshee. And now even more starports. Wow. So it's going to be mass Marines with Medivacs, I believe, and then setting up the buildings here in order to get some additional Banshees. So this is going to be two base quad Banshees with Medivacs, and then the Raven for a point defense drone, and that point defense drone is essentially able to protect 1 to 2 Banshees. With that point defense drone, protect the focus fire, and after 8 Banshees are able to survive for that long, the Stalker numbers will perhaps diminish very, very heavily, and that is going to be an issue. You can see the Medivacs, the starports trying to train up some more. Supply depots are currently being built. And now, as soon as that supply depot was built, it didn't matter. TLO was still supply locked, now sitting at 78 over 78. We'll see how many units he does have queued up. Now finally sitting at 83 over 94. But more Banshees are still getting added to this army very, very heavily. And this is going to come as a very big surprise, I believe, to Socke. Socke currently just getting a lot of Stalkers. He is getting a Twilight Council, but he needs to go into the direction of Phoenixes. If he doesn't get a Phoenix, that's going to be a very serious issue. He only sees he only sees 1 starport, and by only seeing 1 starport, that is going to be a definite benefit for TLO. TLO just going to completely surprise his opponent. I guess because this game is longer than 10-15 minutes, you have to just not call it cheese and call it ingenious gameplay, as we are going to perhaps have somewhere in the realm of 7 to 10 Banshees. So mass Banshees are coming in just a moment. You can see that some of the starports could be continuing the train. Not quite sure why. Perhaps look at the resource tab, silly. And not enough resources at this time, as another Nexus now being laid down by Socke. And both sides are just playing a game of sim StarCraft, building their bases as quickly as possible. The Marines are making their way out first. This one observer going to miss the army as it is moving out, and that is going to be huge. Army-wise, 3,700 resources versus 27. The Marines are constantly on the move as well. The Banshees cloaking research about to be completed, and now going after a Stalker. The Stalker has been destroyed, and now those Banshees are just going to waylay that one Colossus. The Colossus already down to 6 hit points, and now down it goes. So one Colossus already down, and it doesn't matter if you force field Banshees, as those Banshees are just going to be coming in and getting a lot of damage. Point defense drone needs to be dropped. There it is, intercepting so much damage. Mass Banshees having a very difficult time. Cloaking research now could be coming in just a moment, as well as the Marines. And there it is, Mass Banshees trying to just destroy this army. The cloaking research has been completed. Not quite sure why TLO hasn't cloaked his Banshees yet. And that is a mistake by TLO. very, very few mistakes so far, as we have seen as TLO now getting more and more units there, finally cloaking. There is an observer nearby, and Socke blinking his stalkers around, getting a lot of kills, and TLO is now in trouble. TLO is only going after those probes there, and army-wise, 1,100 resources versus 2,700, and down goes that Banshee. So what I thought was ingenious gameplay didn't work out well for TLO at all. I think if he had tried to play a little bit more conservatively, and perhaps trained up 2 to 3 medevacs as well, those medevacs would have been able to keep the Marines alive much longer, and also been able to use Stimpack much more sparingly. Perhaps even a level 1 weapons upgrade off of an engineering bay would have just added to the DPS and the sheer amount of damage that TLO would have been able to output at this time. Income wise, 58 harvesters compared to 48, so a lot of workers were destroyed in that engagement, and we'll see what's going to be happening. The Terran TLO still sitting on a very strong economic lead, and now a Banshee, a cloaked Banshee, now trying to get some damage in, will not be able to get that much damage at all, being forced to pull back there as a main Stalker army now looking to press in. These rocks have already been destroyed. Vikings are over here. Army-wise, things do not look good. Not enough medevacs, and the Stalkers also have blink as well. Mass Banshees quickly getting caught out of position. Scanner sweep does not reveal an observer, and all of these Stalkers are now going to get destroyed. Oh, a very, very important blink now coming in as the Marauders are now trying to battle it out. Another scanner sweep revealing, but what is a scanner sweep going to do if you don't have a Viking or enough Marines to shoot down the observer? The Banshee's now looking for that target once again. The observer able to sneak away, and now TLO wasting scanner sweeps by trying to find an observer and not having anything to shoot down the observer. So once again, a little bit of a misplay, and now TLO does have the larger army once again, and as the harvester count is now starting to even out. So TLO no longer having that large of an advantage. Marines now going to perhaps try to stim and make their way, destroy these probes over here, and now going to destroy some of those probes as well, and now go after, I guess, that pylon. No, unable to go after that pylon as the main army now retreating. And Socke should have no problem dealing with that very, very small tactical force there, as the army of TLO still on the move. Level 1 weapons and armor upgrades finally being researched. TLO getting enough Marauders to counter the Stalkers as the Banshees just destroying this army. The Marauders now trying to come in as well. Both sides battling it out. The Stalkers are getting a lot of damage as the Banshees are now being forced to pull back, unable to get by those force fields. And what is this Nexus doing here? Socke, you are expanding in the wrong direction. Take that one instead. Zealots and Sentries now once again pulling back army-wise. TLO somehow able to macro up a larger army and get back into this, even though he was behind for quite some time. The Marauders now coming in. The Stalkers are going to blink away as the medevacs are now bringing in the rear. Is it going to be enough? The army is kind of split apart. This ball is not all together, as the Colossi and Sentries have been doing a great job. There is enough energy for a couple force fields, but not many, and those force fields are what was saving Socke in the prior 2 engagements. Army, taking a look at the army supply, 96 versus 62. That is a significant difference, very, very significant, as Marauders and Marines are going to try to battle it out once more. Colossi getting taken down. There's the force fields. Banshees now coming in as well. Zealots are charging in, unable to get that much damage, as the medevacs were able to do a hot pickup from one side of the force fields to another. Both sides continuing to engage, but the Vikings now focusing down the Colossus, and now I believe there are enough Marines and Marauders to finish off the standing army here. And now Vikings looking to finish off the targets once more. Zealots joining in on the engagement, but the Banshees finishing off those higher pressure targets, and I believe the army of TLO going to take this game. Very, very nice and strong play as more probes are getting destroyed. The medevacs just helping out with the second push. The timing much, much better, as the Marauders are now just using that range of 6 to their advantage. Going after Zealots. Banshees just completely destroying that ground army once more. And I believe that is gotta be GG. Socke has no real way of getting back into this. Marauders coming in over here. As another Banshee now cloaking. I believe the Photon Cannon is going to be able to reveal that and get more damage in once more. But the Banshees are just finishing off more and more locations even further. The Stalker's now trying to come in. This Nexus destroyed. Socke not giving up without a fight, even though the odds are stacked severely against him. The Banshees now finishing off more units. And are the Banshees going to go after that Colossus? No, not going to go after the Colossus. After Socke has lost 60 workers. 36 harvesters compared to 65. TLO also establishing this expansion. This expansion has not been mined out or been mining for very, very long. It was landed here based upon the mineral count. What, 1500s, 1200s across the board. Walk of Shame now coming in as the Banshees now going straight after that target. Gonna focus down on Colossus. Probes now just getting destroyed, and there's the GG. So TLO taking game 2 or game 3 in this best of 3 matchup to win this series. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay.